Hi, this is SFLogicNinja, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Delay Designer. So let's check out Delay Designer. Delay Designer is a plugin that was included in Logic 9, and essentially what we get is a multi-tap delay system that we can add delays, we can get rid of delays, and we have control over a lot of cool stuff. So let's kind of check it out. So right now I've got the default setting, which is giving us 5 taps or 5 different delays, and for each one of these down below you'll see that my settings have changed. So tap A, if I go to tap A, I can actually change a lot of things about tap A. If I go to tap B, I can change things about tap B as well. Now for each tap, not only do I get volume control, which is what these blue lines are. Okay, so check it out. I'm going to I'm going to let this vocal play through it. So we can also hear that there's a bit of panning and other stuff going on. So I'm going to get rid of these taps by selecting a tap and hitting delete. And you can just keep hitting delete until we get back to the first tap. Okay, so now let's change the pitch. Now we can do it numerically down here, or if we want to, we can come to all the settings for the tap up here, which is a lot easier. So let's go to tap A and go to level. Let's choose the panning for the first tap. Right now it's panning to the right. I'll have it pan left first. Cutoff. So this is the filter. I can turn it all the way up, and our filter, it won't even be noticeable. The filter is not closing at all. But as we add taps, which we do just by clicking down at the bottom here, we can start altering things like the cutoff. And for each tap, it's going to be different. So for tap B, maybe I'll have that pan right. And then for C, I'm going to pan left. And not only do I get the ability to pan, but I can change how much of the stereo field it's going to take up. That's pretty amazing. So this will be a very localized tap and won't take up much of the stereo field. And maybe as they progress, we'll have them get a little bit wider. And you can hear them filtering down. I'll make it pretty radical. And if we add resonance, it's going to be even more pronounced because at the cutoff area, it's going to add emphasis. Now, of course, if we want to get really psychedelic with it, we can start transposing. So, it makes you feel like you're kind of going insane. But we can come down here to our pitch and we can actually turn the power off so the pitch will not get transposed. And down here we can start really fine tuning. So the transposition right now, we've got 4 semitones and -10 cents. I can just set these to 0. And you'll note that the tap also changes as well. Now, so far we've been spreading these out pretty evenly, but if we want to, we can really mess with timing and get these delays to skip around quite a bit. And as you can see, you can make a lot of taps. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move these over. And you can also shift select these taps and move them as a group, which gets to be pretty handy. So now I'm going to make them gradually go longer.
Deep in space, so
Now I'm altering their levels so that those later taps are a little bit more, they're going to be less pronounced. Of course, I'd need to go back through and adjust all my panning for all these guys as well. I'll have them be kind of wide.
deep in space, it's so cold on the
So it can get really kind of crazy. So on filter, resonance, transpose, pitch, level, auto zoom, if your delay starts to get so crazy that you've got more taps than the screen can handle, you hit auto zoom and it'll bring all those taps into focus. On the left hand side, we've got sync. You can turn sync off and on. It'll sync to your song. Right now our grid is in 30-second notes, so that's what each of these division values are. If I go to 16th notes, you'll see that the grid changes and the taps won't be able to line up on 30-second notes anymore. On each of these taps, you also have the ability to adjust the feedback for each tap. So B could have more feedback than A. So that's pretty fun. And then you've got under panning, you can do flip for the right and the left channel. You can adjust your panning and spread just like you were doing graphically here. And that's what's kind of neat, is that not only do you have your numeric readouts down below, but you can also come up here and do things visually, which can be a bit more creative and fun for your workflow. It is important to look at when you're doing a filter, to make sure that you select the slope of your filter, because a 6 dB slope is not going to be as extreme as a 12 dB slope. And what that is showing us is dB per octave. So as your cutoff is happening, and these are all high-pass filters, low-pass filters, the slope, if it's a 12 dB slope, that means that over an octave, it's going to cut 12 dB. So it's important to check that out when you're doing your cutoff, because that's not shown in the graphic display. That can only be accessed down here. The filter also has a low, like beyond the low pass, which is what we're adjusting with the cutoff here. You can also adjust a high pass filter as well. So if I hit start here, I can actually start adding my own taps. And this works really well with the magic.
deep in space.
So as you see, you can add a whole bunch of taps really quickly and have them be a bit more creative by tapping them in here. It works a little bit better if you hit play with a
Deep in space, it's so
So I've officially made it through the entire alphabet there. There you go. So that's hand tapping in. Okay, and that's the end. So there's your delay designer, and I hope you enjoy it and have fun with it. All right, see you later.
My name's David Earl. I also go by SFLogicNinja, and I'll be teaching these courses. We have a Logic 101 and a Logic 201 course. The Logic 101 course is basically all the fundamentals of Logic, making sure that you can create a song in Logic from soup to nuts, from beginning and arrangement all the way to mixing. In Logic 201, we cover advanced techniques, everything from using notation to speeding up your workflow and really digging under the hood of Logic. Now, in the Logic 101 class, we're preparing you for the Logic 9 Pro User Level 1 certification exam. In Logic 101, we start you off just creating a song in Logic. Then after that, we start exploring recording, audio, and MIDI. We move on to editing MIDI and editing audio. And then we talk about programming drums using Ultrabeat. And then we'll work with tempo, mixing, arranging, automation, control surfaces, and basic troubleshooting and optimization of your system for using Logic. It's a pretty full-fledged course, and by the end of it, you should have a good understanding of your basic fundamentals in Logic and be able to create a production from beginning to end. In the Logic 201 class, we're preparing you for the Logic 9 Pro User Level 2 certification exam. In Logic 201, it's where we start to make Logic work the way that we want it to work. So we start with creating our own advanced templates and customizing the user interface so that it matches what we want to do. We talk about doing advanced pitch and time techniques using things like flex time and the time and pitch machine. We'll be going deeply into synthesis. We'll be covering every single synthesizer that's built into Logic Pro. We'll also be looking at advanced audio and MIDI editing, as well as exploring things like the score editor. After that, we'll get into advanced mixing techniques. And then we'll also be setting up our own control surfaces and interfaces and explore that scary thing, the environment. Logic has been a wonderful tool for me, and I hope that after this class I can impart some of my enthusiasm to you so that your own productions can reap the benefit. See you online.